yourself.
God, a myth for the weak. Look at the world. Chaos, suffering. Where's your savior now?
What kind of man are you? Always second guessing, never decisive. Real men lead, you follow. You falter, pathetic. Choices define it.
She deserves better. Your love is weak, unreliable.
How long would you see this a fraud? You're an apple rock. You're crumbly sand.
Daddy, you're supposed to protect, teach, inspire. But look, failures pile up. What legacy are you leaving?
The battle within never ends. Fight me if you can.
Extraterrestrial, like an extraterrestrial, extraterrestrial.
Doctor?
Like I don't belong, I feel like I don't belong. Like I don't belong, I feel like I don't belong. Extraterrestrial, extraterrestrial. Extraterrestrial, extraterrestrial. Like I don't belong, I feel like I don't belong. Like I don't belong, I feel like I don't belong. Extraterrestrial, extraterrestrial. Extraterrestrial, extraterrestrial. Extraterrestrial, like an extraterrestrial, extraterrestrial. Like I don't belong, I feel like I don't belong. Like I don't belong, I feel like I don't belong. Extraterrestrial, extraterrestrial. extraterrestrial. Like an extraterrestrial. Extraterrestrial.
Doctor?
Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Extraterrestrial. 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 Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Extraterrestrial. 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 Like an extraterrestrial. Extraterrestrial. Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Extraterrestrial. Extraterrestrial. Extraterrestrial.
What's going on, y'all? Did it again. I'm so busy. Multitasking per usual. I done messed up again. You would think that I've been doing this for about going on 11 years that I get this part figured out. Let's say I can't do that because that will be playing somebody else's content. We don't want that. Can we go to my stuff, please? And thank you. What we got? Well, I'm getting this situated. Welcome to another edition of the BTSI show. I'm your host, Christopher J. Thank you guys for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. Let's do this. All right. I've heard a lot of crazy things on this app. Well, let's meet that. Jesus. Y'all pray for me that I get this together. But yeah, welcome to another edition of the BTSI show. I'm your host, Christopher J. Thank you guys for tuning in. Where we at? If you want more content like this, please subscribe and share it to your people. Follow me on all social. Links are located in the description. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Once we reach that goal, one lucky person will get $100 during the Cash App giveaway. And while I'm gonna freestyle this moment, and so I hurry up and get caught up with everything. It doesn't surprise me that as soon as I get closer to one goal, the requirements tend to change, to say the least. Someone that shout out to Sal, he was asking me about redirects last week, and I said to myself, I'll have the redirects fixed or turned on by the time whenever I get around to it. Unfortunately, redirect is not available on my end. Can't say I'm not surprised because, like I said, every time it never fails. The qualifications have always changed. Anytime I get closer to one goal, here comes whatever platform. They say, all right, congratulations, you made it this far. Now, keep in mind, the things change. Now you need X amount of subscribers to participate in this, the benefits, these simple functionalities of that type of stuff. And which is all the more reason I really didn't care to prioritize or focus on monetization, but it is what it is. Because I was kind of like scratching my head trying to figure out why the hell is this not working. But once I put two and two together, and I was like, all right, bet. Oops, that's not it. That's part one, and that's part two. Bet. Next. All right, let's go. Now we can go ahead and about to get started right now. All right, go. And ladies and gentlemen, we are fish. Yes, okay, good. Now we're officially live on the vertical stream. Okay, now we can proceed to get started. Let's try that again. Welcome to another edition of the BTSI show. I'm your host, Christopher J. Thank you guys for tuning in. Do me a favor, subscribe to my channel, share it to a friend or two, follow me on all my socials. Links are located in the description. And we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Once we reach that goal, one local person will get $100 during the Cash App giveaway. I want to take a moment to thank everybody for tuning in to last week's edition, initial inauguration of Everyone's a Feminist Part 1. I'm shocked, and I greatly appreciate it. And I will work on the shorts. Speaking of the shorts, I want to take a moment to thank every last one of you guys who have viewed and shared out my shorts from the previous weeks, where I got a chance to introduce you guys to people that I talk to on a regular who actually helps me sharpen my skill set. Not to say, well, we're only here to make sure you are strong or solidifying your points. It's just like I have my good friends, my sparring partners, and those are my people, and I appreciate every last one of them. More to come, and I'll be working on some new shorts this week, and I'm going to be making sure that I incorporate a lot of rules and a lot of time with those guys later. So thank you for that. Today, in part two, we're going to break down the types of feminism, because when people hear that word, it evokes a certain response. I get it, but we need to properly educate ourselves on what these branches of feminism are, so that way when you hear it, you're not immediately turned off by it. So let's go ahead and start that today. It's gonna be a good show. But before we get to that, let's do some quick hits, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome home. For those who are not aware, Max B is home. He was set free today. For those who don't know, Charles Wingate, better known for his stage name, Max B, is an American rapper and singer. He is best known for his solo public domain and $1 Million Baby series of mixtapes. And of course, if you want to know where the word wavy came from, it came from him. That 5'6" brother right there, hugging French Montana. Ladies and gentlemen, now, due to some legal troubles, Max B, along with Kelvin Learman, was found guilty of 9/11 counts, including felony murder, in and he was supposed to be looking at 75 years, ladies and gentlemen. In mid-2016, Max B's convictions were vacated on September 16th, 2016. He pled guilty to aggravated manslaughter and was sentenced to 20 years, putting his release date, for today, November 9th, 2025. So as y'all can see, Max B is a free man. And just reading, and granted, I heard of Max B for a good minute. I want to say um, probably around the time French came out, or maybe even before that. I got to go double check. I heard of Max B, and I heard that this when you hear the word wavy, that belongs to him. And I also know that to be gone this long, I already knew what it could have possibly been. So with him, excuse me, with him out right now, because he's only, how old is Max B? He's 47. Should we expect new music from Max B? I forgot to get my coffee, which I'm gonna do that in a minute. Should we expect new music from Max B? I'm not expecting any type of new music for somebody who's been gone for 15 years. Here's one thing you guys are not gonna do is throw me in no studio. You're not about to throw me in. I just left a 10 by 10 cell or 12 by 12 cell. You're not about to put me in no 12 by 12 booth and tell me to start rapping. And let this man enjoy freedom. Let him enjoy his life as a free man. He ain't got to rap another bar a day in his fucking life. I do expect his people to take care of him. I do expect that. I expect him to go wherever he wants to go and do whatever he wants to do. Obviously, nothing to lead him back in jail, obviously. So, welcome home, Max B. I don't think he has to worry about hanging around the same people. And when I say hang around the same people, I'm talking about the mentality of where people were back in the day. I would imagine a lot of growth and a lot of changes has happened since then, which we can all agree, because Lord knows I'm not the same person I was back in 2009. So I believe that Max B is going to be fine. I also go as far as to say I think they're going to do a series. If you really guys just look at the story of Max B, just on the outlines of itself, I don't see how that cannot be a story worth telling. So don't be surprised if somebody says the Max B story's coming. I believe you. It is something worth looking into. Granted, how he started being associated with Jim Jones, that being a beef for whatever reason, you guys can go read upon it yourselves. What led to him to going to jail, and even just during his 15 years. And keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, he was looking at 75 years. So, I would like to see, but like I said, to Max B, welcome home. Welcome home, welcome home, welcome home. Next up, I actually need to move this to the side. 50 Cent. 50, 50, 50, 50, 50. So, as you guys heard, Zohran Mamdani is going to be the new mayor of New York City. With all the things surrounding Mamdani, let me check the chat real quick. Don't know what language you speaking, homeboy. Yeah, you're doing some type of weird stuff, so I'm just gonna do you a solid. I'm gonna put you in timeout for 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna put you in timeout for 5 minutes because I don't know what you're trying to communicate with me, but Once you realize how words work, then I'll bring you back. Hey, Brenda, how you doing? Yo, what's your favorite pizza? Pizza's always my favorite food. So let's get back to it. I'm sorry about that. Zoran Mondini is going to be the new mayor of NYC. A lot of people are not a fan of this because he carries himself as a socialist. For those who don't know what socialism is, it's an economic and political system characterized by collective or government ownership and administration of the means of production and distribution of goods. This approach aims to achieve greater equality and reduce wealth disparities, ought to prioritize social welfare and cooperation over competition. Now, one of the things that I did hear from a quote from him was saying that he is pro-government and is going to be the government that saves New York. So trust in the government. I don't know if that's the best way to lead or introduce yourself to being the mayor of the people. I wouldn't have recommended that personally. So let me see. Maybe there's some highlights that is that we can find on this guy. Maybe some highlights. Debate highlights. No, I don't want no debate highlights. Just highlights of him because one thing I know is he been a New York representative since 2021. He got married this year. I'm not gonna hold y'all. How old is Mondini? Because I can tell you right now that's not okay. He's 34 years old. See, the optics of this is going to be when it comes to the marriage part, the optics is going to look kind of crazy because it's going to be like, we won't go there because it might not even be that, so I'm not going to introduce it. But when it comes to him introducing himself or coming off as a socialist and where New York is headed, this warrant 50 Cent to post this. Rest in peace in New York. Founded 1624. Died 2025. And even this. Fuck it, I'm moving to Florida. You know how bad your city has to go down for you to move to Florida? Of all places. Shout out to the people of Florida. But yeah, I will be going back to New York next year, ladies and gentlemen, in the springtime. We're gonna run it back. We're gonna do another live show. This time we're gonna do it in the area where the Wi-Fi, the signal is not gonna interfere with the stream. So we're gonna go back and run that shit back. I love New York, ladies and gentlemen. Probably the best city that I have ever been to. Also, just for, even though I went in the month of June, that's the last place I recommend anybody go to is New York in the month of June. Still one of the best cities. I see how people can fall in love with it, and to see the typical New Yorkers not too happy about this. I think saying you're moving is a bit of a stretch, but if the people that I trust was like, run, you might want to run. But I will be back in New York in spring of 2026. The BTSI show will return to New York. That is for damn sure. We will definitely run it back. I want to see how the city is, and does this warrant what people are saying. All right. Lastly, I ran across this on social media. All I'm going to say is some people are not keeping the same energy. I'm going to play this video. I might play it again. And we'll be right back.
I'm 33, I have 4 children, and I'm expecting one with my boyfriend who's 21. We met at work. He just knew he wanted me.
I was like, damn, like, who's that?
I wanted to crack him too. But after we talked and we realized that it was more than a crack, you know what I'm saying? When he was flirting with me, I was like, how old are you? And then he immediately did like one of these like, and he's like, yeah, I'm such and such. And I was like, wow, it's a little young. But when I seen the way like he was treating me, I was like, oh, he treats me very well. So I just let the age thing fly.
How did you get to the point where you're like, okay, cool, I'm doing this?
He sent me an explicit photo. It's the truth. You guys want to know the truth? It's true. He was talking nasty. So I was like, well, let me see if you can back it up. He backed it up.
I'm that guy.
So, she's 33 years old, 4 children, 4 baby daddies. Her 21-year-old boyfriend is baby daddy number 5. And there are people in the chat, women to be exact, who are supporting this. She said, as long as she's happy, I'm happy. I was like, go. She's like, I'm proud of that woman. She gets to find true love, et cetera, et cetera.
I want to fight you just on general principle. And I can beat you.
Every last one of y'all. Here's why. Because I'm not putting my belief system into this story. I'm just highlighting the hypocrisy. Had that been a 33-year-old man with 4 children and 4 baby mamas, and the 5th one on the way, also 21 years old, there will be a problem. There will be an uproar. They'll be calling this man names. I won't embark on what the names they will call him. There being a 12-year gap in baby number 5 with the 5th child's parent. Yeah. All I'm just saying is keep the same energy. Keep the same energy. But you can't keep the same energy. Now, some people are going to say, well, it's a double standard. What does your belief system say? Remember I say foundation, principles, obedience, discipline. What does that say? Because it shouldn't be based off of gender. See, this is why I'm comfortable with my stances, because I don't rely on something to say double standards. I don't. And because the reason why, because people want to throw double standards onto everything to bend the truth of the matter and to bend the lie into a truth that will go towards their favor. That right there, I was like, nah, you're not about to play me. You're not about to play me, because this is not a double standard moment. Let me say it again. This right here is not a double standard moment. See, me, based off of what I believe in, I know how to properly approach this, but I'm just taking this moment to highlight a lot of hypocrisy. That's all. I'll play the video again.
I'm 33, I have 4 children, and I'm expecting one with my boyfriend who's 21. We met at work. He just knew he wanted me.
I was like, damn, like, who's that?
I wanted to crack him too. But after we talked and we realized that it was more than a crack, you know what I'm saying? When he was flirting with me, I was like, how old are you? And then he immediately did like one of these like, and he's like, yeah, I'm such and such. And I was like, wow, it's a little young. But when I seen the way like he was treating me, I was like, oh, he treats me very well. So I just let the age thing fly.
How did you get to the point where you're like, okay, cool, I'm doing this?
He sent me an explicit photo. It's the truth. You guys want to know the truth? It's true. He was talking nasty. So I was like, well, let me see if you can back it up. He backed it up.
I'm that guy.
When are people going to stop confusing true love for true lust? Just saying, be honest. When are people when are people going to stop confusing true love with true lust? It's going to have to stop. Just because he blow your back out, that doesn't mean it's true love. There got to be some other qualities that introduce that. Now, to her benefit, she said there were some other things that that he was able to provide, that he was able to display, that made her ignore the 12-year age gap. But sometimes you got to ask yourself, is this the right decision at the end of the day? Now, some people, let me say this. I don't shame stepfathers at all. Matter of fact, I always tell people you can't be pro-community if you're anti-stepfather. Let me say that again. You can't be pro-community but be anti-stepfather. That's a fact. Did I say go out there and become a stepfather? No, I did not. You should do what you feel comfortable doing, and you should not go in any situation thinking you're going to lose neither. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But don't shame people for doing it. In the case of this situation, should I provide my own, what can I say? No, we might have to spend this. This is going to be worth a topic spinning the block on. So I'll put that in the chamber for later. But all I want to highlight is, ladies, if you're going to get on men for racking up all these children, all these baby mothers, especially the age gap, keep the same energy towards her. If not, whatever foundation that you thought you were standing on, get rid of it. Abort mission immediately. All right? And that was Quick Hits. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the BTSI show. I am your host, Christopher J. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to share, subscribe, and follow me on all my social. All right. Where we at? Why I got this all the way down here? Okay, let's see. Yeah, let's put that right there. And I'm just going to make a change real quick. And like I said, to those who are just now coming in, like I said, thank you guys for the support that you guys have been showing. I have seen a lot of people watch and engage in the shorts that I put out. I have put out 16 shorts. Y'all don't know how much of an overburn that was. But everything's paying off. The message is getting out there. You guys are, I want to say, take this moment to say shout out to Content, shout out to Yums, shout out to Offensive Person, Honey the Goddess, Nacho Auntie, Prince James, who else? A lot of other people who have made that contribution. Want to take a moment to say thank you guys. And we will be doing a simulcast of Clubhouse and YouTube in the future. But in the meantime, Everyone's a Feminist, Part 2. Now, last week, we went in dissected what does it mean to be a feminist. Obviously, it is a person who believes in feminism, and feminism is a person, not a woman, a human being that believes in equal rights for women, whether it be, it don't matter, it could be human rights, work rights, or whatever. They have the equal opportunity just like any man out there because they're human. And like I said, while we're on this journey to find out if everyone's a feminist, everyone's a feminist, we can say for sure that Christopher Joseph Gar, aka Christopher J, is a feminist, because I want the same equal rights that I have as a man. I want my mother to have it. I want my sister to have it. I'm glad that my grandmothers had it. God rest their souls. I want my nieces to have it. I want my aunties to have it. I want my friends, female friends in my circle, to have it. Those outside of my circle, I want them to have it as well. And if you want the same thing, I can say that you're a feminist as well. So, with that being stated, there are types of feminism. Now, in modern day, when we hear the word feminism, it's a turnoff. It's completely a turnoff. Because you have all these people who it seems like they malign or put their own agenda into feminism, especially during the different waves of feminism. We will get into that next episode, the waves part. So, because we're going to figure out on another level, historically speaking, where do you fall in? Not where you was born in, based off of your belief systems, where do you fall in as far as which ways there are? So, with that being stated, we got to figure out the types of feminism. The types of feminism, ladies and gentlemen. Liberal feminism is one. Maybe I should, oops. Well, that won't be necessary. Actually, we could do it actually like this. Oh, such a genius. There we go. Now, liberal feminism is one form of feminism, ladies and gentlemen. It works within existing systems for reform via laws and education to achieve equal opportunities. If you historically go look at this country, we can easily say that did the laws or did the environment entirely favorite women? The answer is no. We can't be historically inaccurate. It kept women boxed in a square, or depending how you want to look at it, it kept them boxed into a particular area in the house, a kitchen nonetheless. But liberal feminism, it helps change the laws to make sure that there's equal opportunity for women. That is liberal feminism, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this one, ladies and gentlemen, might be the one that kind of turned people off, which is radical feminism. Views patriarchy as the root of oppression, calls for a fundamental social restructuring, often focusing on ending male dominance and violence. To say patriarchy is the root of oppression is crazy. That is insane. However, we can say that oppression did hide behind a form of patriarchy. We can say that for sure. Because I don't think, let me say this, and I say this respectfully. When it comes to oppression, nobody's going to think about women because they don't believe that women can oppress men back then. Now, some people say women can oppress the men now. I don't know if I entirely agree with that, but I think that is a conversation worth having on Clubhouse, and I'll say to bring it on YouTube. But when it comes to, I don't believe patriarchy is the root of oppression. I disagree with that. However, I can say that oppression does hide behind the walls of patriarchy. Oppression does hide behind the walls of patriarchy. In context of this conversation, especially back then, that I can say, I can agree with that part. But to be the root of all oppression, no, we're not doing that. Calls for a fundamental social restructuring, often focusing on ending male dominance and violence. Violence, I agree. See, here's the thing about violence. Violence is nothing but a tool. Violence is nothing but a tool that men and women should use when the opportunity, if the opportunity or the situation presents itself where you have to use that to protect yourself. I do agree with that. Now, as far as ending male dominance, if you believe that you should dominate any situation because you're a male, you're already off on the wrong foot. And I can agree to the idea of ending that because you just missed the complete goal of your role in your household and outside the front door. So it's not because you're a male that you should be dominant. You should be dominant. You should be able to dominate based off of other things versus the gender you're assigned at birth. Like, for example, or your dominance or your feature, etc. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm 6'1". I am 300 pounds. If you see me, obviously I let people go with their narratives until they see me in person, and obviously you have to change your mind when you see me in person. But I know people who are shorter than me. I know people who are smaller than me. But I know people who are far more experienced in wisdom, to where I tend to defer to them because it's only going to make me better as a person. Not all of this. I'm just gifted to be genetically who I am. But the one exercise that you can, the strongest muscle that you can exercise is this. And there are people who have done that, not because they are male, because that's who they are. And that's what it should dominate and should control society. It has nothing to do with the gender your genetics and biology. You XY chromosome, that doesn't mean you should be in charge. It's because of the skill sets that I give you, you need to be in charge. So keep that in mind. Next up, another form. Now, when I saw this, I was like, I was kind of looking at it sideways, but I was like, there's nothing on the table that's not worth exploring. So when it comes to socialist and matrix feminism, links gender inequality to capitalism and class exploitations, advocates for dismantling both systems. Now, remember when we were talking about Zoran Madani, I have to give you the definition of socialism, is an economic and political system characterized by collective or governmental ownership and administration of the means of production and distribution of goods. So that's on the socialism part. Now, the next part is Marxist. Now, I'm not going to hold you guys when I'm going to look up the word Marxist right now. See, socialism, for the most part, I've been hearing about that, and all that means is government on a small level. Government is just going to be in control. But Marxists, there's nothing about a Marxist that I care to look up. I remember somebody that used to be on the YouTube side. I don't want to say his name because I could be wrong. And these people being often miscategorized can be severely offensive, so I won't say it. Excuse me. But he called himself a Marxist. And I was like, I don't really care because I don't hear it that much. But so let's, as a family, if you know it, cool. If you don't know it, thank me later. We're going to figure this out now. You can act like you knew this all your life. Marxism is a social, political, and economic theory developed by Karl Marx, Jesus, and Friedrich Engels that analyze society through the lens of class struggle, arguing that history is defined by the conflicts between the bougie and the proletariat. Now, that's nothing but classism at the end of the day. Okay. At least gender inequality to capitalism and class exploitation. So, okay, I get it. Let's see. I don't. How much of that in my lifetime do I agree with? Because if there's going to be gender inequality, I don't think classism has anything to do with it. But that doesn't mean it hasn't happened before, ladies and gentlemen. Because unless you want to say when it comes to Marxism, I can see why, and also I can see why a lot of people stayed away from this word Marxism because nobody got time for this. Let's see. Hold on, real quick. It examines the effect of capitalism on labor, productivity, and economic development, and argues for a worker revolution to overturn capitalism in favor of communism. And I guess let me get the proper definition for that ready because I don't know. Communism is a political economic ideology that advocates for a classless society where the community owns all property and the means of production. In theory, it is a system with no government where goods are distributed based on ability and needs, but in practice, communist states have historically been led by authoritarian single-party rule the controls of the economy. Yeah, that's if I recall correct, that's a tad bit of an oxymoron. But that goes into some political beliefs I have. We'll one day explore that. But to link gender equality to capitalism, I mean, I guess I can see it because to a degree, but it's like, but the women will still benefit. But then again, if we're talking about capitalism now, usually who makes the most money, and usually you make the most money, you do dictate the rules. So now that I thought about it a little bit more, now that we're walking through this, I can see why. Now I can somewhat see it. I can somewhat see what they're saying. Now, do I see that in the mass level in my purview? No, I don't. But I can see why that makes sense to a degree. Okay, cool. I can get with that. I have no problem with that because that one I somewhat bypassed, but it is what it is. And thank you guys for keeping the comments clean while I get these posted so that way people can see what I'm looking at. Okay, and here's another one. That's what is it, right? Intersectional feminism centers marginalized women, i.e., women of color, LGBTQIA, coined by Kimberly Crenshaw to address overlapping oppressor. And I gotta tell you, that's getting into the third or fourth wave of feminism, which we'll talk about next week. Well, second wave, people of color, that came in the second wave. Everything else came in the third or fourth. So, to this, I don't believe you should be discriminated against because you are a woman of color. I don't think you should be discriminated because you are a woman, LGBTQIA. Now, as a believer of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, I can stand on this saying, although there are certain lifestyles that I don't agree with, I do believe that you should not be discriminated against because what you try to identify in your personal life. I know a lot of people say what you choose to do in the bedroom, that also counts, but that's not something I want to address. And oh no, not Genesis. Hey baby girl, how you doing? Shout out to Genesis. And of course, you guys know we're simulcast from YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and also my vertical stream right here. So I do, okay, this one I agree with. If you're a woman of color, that should not be a shackle to you in society. Just because you choose to identify with the LGBTQIA community, you should not be oppressed because of that. You should not be discriminated because of that. Meaning in the workforce and that type of stuff, you should be treated equally. Now some people say, so can LGBT women go to church? Yes. Why would you keep somebody up? Because that's just Zeb I want to work with. Why would you keep somebody away from the church? Congratulations, you just became your oppressors. No, don't keep nobody away from the church. Bring them. And the reason why I say that is if they want to improve their lifestyle or get introduced to who the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit is, open the doors and let them. Open the doors and let them come in and let them know how this organization is ran, or how this building is supposed to operate, or how you're supposed to operate in a body of believers. Let them bring them in. Don't keep them away because of what they choose to do, because you never know. You just never know. And I'll just tell people, if God is leading them to the church, stay out of God's way and play your position. That's all. That's all I'm saying. But intersection of feminism, okay, we can agree to that. You got a few more of these to go. I'll trust you, this is going to be a lot easier when I go back and do my shorts. Trust me. All right. Next one is cultural feminism. Celebrate women's difference and feminine traits as strengths. Let me tell you guys something. Excuse me. Maybe in the top of next year, we're going to talk about the traits of masculinity and femininity. I have an outlook that has not been explored, and it's probably going to shake some people to the course. I'm just letting you know that right now. But we'll get to that in 2026. In the meantime, celebrate women's differences and feminine traits as strengths. Based off the narrative, and this is something I always use against the brothers who say something stupid when it comes to these dating conversations. What are women good for? That's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. What are women good for? What are the values that you see in women? I want you, matter of fact, I want you, homework, come back and we'll discuss it next week. I want you guys to go in your personal life and start asking people, what value do women bring? especially when we talk about cultural feminism, ask them what value do women bring. That's going to be, and I would love for you guys to record it, tag me in it, and we'll play it on the show next week, because I want to see how uncomfortable people get. See, granted, this was a conversation that no one has ever broached me. This is something I just thought about maybe in the last couple of months. A simple question, but with a lot of years of hearing people talk and their experiences, I came to the conclusion, and I just wanted to ask, like, what are women good for? What value do women bring in your life? Now, no, I don't want to tell you guys. I want you guys to just sit back. I want you guys to think about the responses that you're going to get from them, the people that you ask, and just come back next week and let's talk about it. Because there's so many strengths in a woman that has been overlooked because society has deemed women to be weak. And I know one thing that women are good for. No, not good for, excuse me. I know one thing that I value and respect for women that can also, I don't want to say this, only because I don't want to give anybody any, I'll say it. I know one thing that is valuable in a woman that can also make them just as dangerous as a man. I know what that is. I spoke about it a couple of times, but it goes unaddressed when I bring it up, because can you rebut it? No, you cannot. Shout out to Miss Tiff. Shout out to Miss Tiff. You guys, every now and then see her on This Might Be Risky. Because we was in, and I usually don't bring up any Discord conversation to the platform, but I love Miss Tiff. Y'all can go back to when This Might Be Risky was in Houston. She's in the video. When I told her, when I did a paragraph on that one quality trait that women have that can make them just as dangerous as a man, her reply was throwing a bunch of tomatoes at me, and I couldn't help but die laughing in my car when she sent that. I love Miss Tip to death, but she knows that. She knows I'm telling the truth. But the thing is, because women are looked at as the weaker vessel, people tend to overlook. Let me try that again. Because people see women as a weaker vessel in society, that's also their greatest strength. One of their greatest strengths. What did Jenna say? My value is at the walk. Why is she doing this? What is your value at what age or stage? And a certain age, a woman's value becomes invisible. That's a interesting comment, ladies and gentlemen. See, when you go, and I'll speak on this before we get to the next two. When it comes to women's value, especially in this sector that we in, there's a narrative that has been displayed, and quite frankly, Genesis, that's a narrative I believe I debunked already. If I haven't, I do need to go check that list and make sure I put that on my things to talk about. When we say that women has hit the wall, for the most part, they're talking about when biology comes into play, about women reproductions and so on and so forth, and amongst other things. Not knowing that, do I really? Oh, fuck, I'll give it to them. Let's say if a woman reached a certain age and you guys are talking about reproduction, which more times than not, they're not talking about reproduction. They're talking about When it comes to hitting the wall, let me keep it going. Let's just say this: if you guys stop valuing women with their bodies, you'll get to really see how valuable and also where the true strength lies, and how society overlooks women, which can also make them the most dangerous. If you stop valuing women for sex, you'll actually get to see their true strengths, but also see how dangerous they can be if you continue to overlook them. I respect women just as much as I respect any man, because I know how capable they are to build somebody up, but also destroy them. Help build somebody up, but also slowly destroy them. So stop valuing women when it comes to that hit the wall narrative and all this other stuff, because I can tell you one thing: in totality, women are never going to hit the wall. Let me say that again. Women are never going to hit the wall when you talk about in totality. We'll discuss that later on, because I don't think they're ready for that conversation. I really don't think. And I will ponder for the week. Actually, let me see something. Let me check the dates. Yeah, I will ponder. I'm gonna ponder a little bit longer on that one, because I don't know if people are really ready to hear the truth behind that. So I'll be responsible and hold on to that just a little longer. All right, next up is ecofeminism. Ecofeminism connects women's oppression to environmental exploitation. That is a fact. Historically speaking, that is true. You can go back and we're not, and for the record, when we talk about oppression, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not talking about cultural, I'm not talking about what your culture believe. Or, for example, like, let's say if you go to India, if you go to Dubai, Pakistan, Africa, you go to all these countries where they have a culture that runs their society. What positions every body needs to play, and what position they are comfortable with playing. I'm not talking about that. Let me make that loud and clear. I am not talking about that. And quite frankly, you shouldn't be thinking about any type of feminism outside the U.S. as of now, because we gotta get to the foundation first, which was was here in the U.S. Well, North America at least. So when it comes to women's oppression, environmental exploitation, here's the thing. When it comes to gender roles, keep it in the U.S. Keep gender roles in the U.S. for context of this conversation. When it comes to gender roles, there is a position that society has deemed that everybody play. Men do this, but more importantly, women need to do this right here. Women, what demographic of women? I'll put two and two together. They need to stay home. They need to cook. They need to clean. They need to watch over the kids. And they need to have all this in order before the husband comes home. Now, that's historically speaking. And the reason why, now some people say, why is that oppressive? It shouldn't be oppressive. However, whoever was in charge of making the rules, whether it be at home first or at home, let's just keep it at home, because there's no law that, actually, that's a lie. Let me not go there. At home, depending on where your heart resides, there's a lot of opportunity to box women in so the men can stay out and run the household or run the world how he sees fit. If you're a man of integrity, that shouldn't be a problem because your wife trusts you to make the right decisions when you're not in her presence. What room was it? It was, I believe, I did a room on Friday. And I almost forgot what that room was in regards to. But one thing we uncovered when it comes to the idea of women being oppressed, you guys know some of the narratives that they brought up back in the day about what's what I'm looking for? How grandpa always physically, whether it be physically, no, how either the dad or grandfather either physically, mentally, or emotionally abused the mother or the grandmother. There's a lot of Black women who will run with that narrative. Thank God I know the people that I know who were from that era or have close ties to that era who can say that's not a narrative for the Black community. That's not to say that did not happen in the Black community. That was sprinkled around for sure. But to say when it comes to men physically, mentally, emotionally abusing their wives, including starting another family on the other side of town, this OG that is in my circle said that was a white people narrative. Back then, white people were notorious for doing that. So think about it. That also leads to another conversation. Why are Black people so obsessed with adopting white people narratives in their community? But we will discuss that later. We'll discuss that later. Because of who was dictating society and how they abuse of power was in place, it's the reason why feminism started. The problem is when you keep oppressing people, their people tend to get stronger in due time. As Black people, we know that for a fact. So how can it not be true for women? How can it not be true for other groups? When it comes to LGBTQIA, we just brought them up earlier, there's a law in play that protects them. So learn from your history. I'm just saying, learn from your history. Now this one, last one, trans feminism. Trans feminism. It is, oops, there we go. Come on. String guard, keep up. Working. What are you doing? Girl, get out of here. Trans feminism applies feminist principles to transgenders' rights and experience. So we're not with that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a firm believer of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So what does that mean about those in the trans community? Like I said earlier, they're humans too. They have the right to exist in this world, in spite or despite the decision that they made. Now, is that a lifestyle that I personally agree with? The answer is no. However, you require to be treated like a human. You will be treated as such. You desire to go to work. You should be able to get any job that you qualify for. You want to get paid such amount of dollars. You deserve this. If you have the same resume, listen to the words that I say because people always manage to fuck this up. If you have the same resume as your coworkers or counterparts or whatever, you should get paid just as much as that person get paid. We can all agree to that. That's what that means. Those who are transgender, their rights as humans should not change because they decide to transition from one sex to another. Like I said, is that a lifestyle or ideology I agree or believe in? The answer is no. However, that's irrelevant because they're still humans. That's why. So, here's the same ballpark that we all have to play in. You can be there as well. Keep in mind, the ballpark that we all have to play in. You can play there. That's fine. Totally understand. You should go to work. You should do this. And you should not be bullied or assaulted or oppressed for your decision making. I'm not going to do that. I am not God the Father, the Son, or the Holy Spirit. So I am not doing that. Matter of fact, my job from those entities is to treat you. It's to one, continue to love you. Two, treat you like a human being, and treat you the way that I would like to be treated. That simple, that easy. That's what that means, ladies and gentlemen. So, remember, and like I said, thank you guys for keeping this chat clean. I greatly appreciate it because, like I said, this is going to help when people go back in and rewatch this. Liberal, when it comes to feminism, liberal works within existing system for reform via laws and education to achieve equal opportunities. Radical views patriarchy as the root of oppression, calls for fundamental societal restructuring, often focusing on ending male dominance and violence. I don't quite agree with that, but I do. Like I said, I believe oppression do tend to hide behind the walls of patriarchy. I do agree with that part. Socialist, Marxist feminism links gender inequality to capitalism and class exploitation, advocates for dismantling both systems. Now, that definition is a little bit complicated. I had to go read it and read other definitions just to make sure I have an idea. And I'm glad I did that because on the surface level, I didn't get that at all. But when I really dig deep into it, I said, okay, now it's starting to make a little bit of sense. Now, do I see it all the time? No. But I can see for those who experience it, I understand why this definition exists. So I get that. Intersectional centers marginalized women, i.e. women of color or LGBTQIA, coined by Kimberly Crenshaw to address overlapping oppression. Get that? Cultural feminism celebrates women's differences and feminine traits as strengths. Ecofeminism connects women's oppression to environmental exploitation, and trans feminism applies feminist principles to transgender rights and experience. So, with these being the major types of feminism, now we have a much more clearer definition or a much more thorough definition of feminism, because on the surface level, it means human beings who believe that women deserve equal rights. What it means in the workplace, what it means in society, etc., etc. They deserve equal rights. They should be treated the same like anybody else. I get that. That's why I said Christopher Joseph McGuire, aka Christopher J, is a feminist. That would technically make me a feminist. So I agree with that. And like I said, the easiest way to figure this out if you're a feminist or not. Do you want your mother, your sister, your grandmother, your female cousins, your aunties, your nieces the women in your circle, start with those. Do you want them to have the same equal opportunity? If the answer is yes, congratulations. On that front, you're at least a feminist. So, and with understanding that, how can you not understand? How can the same principle not apply to those outside of your circle? Like I said, congratulations, you're a feminist. But this is just part 2. This is just part 2. Well, actually, let me actually we're gonna because let's actually let me go through the common misconceptions of feminism as far as the ways and why feminism matters. We'll get to that next week. Feminism is not anti-man. Let me say that again. Feminism, even I knew this one. Feminism is not anti-man at all. It critiques harmful gender norms that hurts everyone. That's all feminism really is, ladies and gentlemen. It's not anti-man. It's not. Also, it includes men as allies and beneficiaries. Like I said, the definition of feminism doesn't mean it has to be a woman who believes in equal rights and opportunity. Men believe that as well for their women. That's why I said, yeah, I guess this makes me a feminist. Also, not all feminists agree on every issue. We will get into that next week. But the shared aim in justice and equality. Yes. Now, like I said, we went through the major types of feminism. Right there alone, you can already tell where this is going to get a little bit messy when we get into part of the finale next week, when we go over the waves of feminism. But yeah, and just like we say about black people are not monoliths, neither are feminists. They don't agree on the same thing. Especially when we go to these, oh my. Okay, never mind. I saw how that could scroll. Especially when we go into the waves. I just had to rebrush and look at the dates of when all this started. So I can already tell you right now, there's not a lot of things about feminism I'm going to agree with, just based off of my foundation. Yeah, there are some things, as things tend to grow, there are going to be some things that I don't believe in. Check the bottom ticker. What's my ideology? Christian, child of God, believer, God the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, Hebrew. Go ahead and throw that in there. Yes. So already there are going to be some things that I'm quite just not going to agree with, but that's okay because there's a common goal that we're all aiming for. So let's go ahead and get there, all right? So with that being stated, that was part 2. Everyone is a feminist. Part 3 finale next week. Now, one more thing before we go. Oh, Jesus, I need to fix that. Yeah, one more thing before we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let me actually get this list up because I want to pay respects to all the inductees. Let me see. Where's no, not the. Right, here we go. All right, perfect. The 2025 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was a few days ago. Here are the people that got inducted. When it comes to musical excellence, Thom Bell, Nicky Hopkins, Carl Kay were inducted. When it comes to musical influence, Warren, Zevon, and Salt-N-Pepa. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Salt-N-Pepa has been inducted into the Hall of Fame. And when it comes to performers, ladies and gentlemen, Bad Company, Chubby Checker, Joe Cocker, Oz, Cyndi Lauper, Soundgarden, the White Stripes, all inducted into the 2025 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm saving this one group for last. Outkast. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest hip hop duo has finally been inducted to the 2025 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yes, obviously UGK is going to hold a personal place in my heart, obviously. Rest in peace to Pimp C. But when it comes to the greatest hip hop duo, it's Outkast, and it's not even close. They got inducted. And let's go ahead and get into it, because Andre 3000 said something that touched me, and he's absolutely right. And it got me to thinking about where this started and all the things that I was able to accomplish and where I'm at right now. It's like, where did all this started? So let me play what he said at the Hall of Fame.
But one thing that Jack said, man, Jack is, man, he's one of my favorites, man. We love you, man. But one thing that he said something about little rooms, and we started in a little. Little rooms. Great things start in little rooms. That's it.
Long live Uncle Moni.
Great things start in little rooms. Go look up how Amazon started. Go look at Google started. Go look at how all these multi-billion-dollar conglomerates has started. It did not, and I'll admit this can be my issue sometimes when I just go through the creativity process of planning. I want the biggest, the best, all that stuff. It is okay to start off small. It's okay. And I feel like I need to say pause for that one. It's okay. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. Pause again. So, like this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is all mobile devices. That is. I remember when it started off with the Android tablet. You can go back and look at my first video. Some of those emojis were Androids. Now I'm running this like a production, like if I was to go to channel 2, channel 11, 13, 26, 39, all in Houston. Well, I was to go to those studios and run this the same way. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more sophisticated than mine, but I am look where I have gotten. Go back and look at my accomplishments. I was telling people, actually, I got one more thing to talk about, then we'll go. I was telling people on Clubhouse on Saturday, because I had to do an impromptu room to do a love tap on somebody's forehead. I told them how this started and where it's at now. I'm grateful, but I don't understand how T.I. Tiny Desk episode that I did years ago is sitting at 64,000 views. I really don't know, because I don't have any expectations when I do any of this. Even this right here, I don't have any real expectations. I just have a message that needs to be put out there, and I know, and maybe because I don't have no expectation, because I know my words will reach the masses. It's just gonna start small. Yeah, and and yeah, right now, it says I got 3 people watching. Cool. There's a reason why I embrace that, because the people who need to watch me is watching me, and the message will get out there, because their society and how the world plays tend to silence people like me, because they know that certain people's words can compromise the foundation of the organization that they're trying to run here. It starts somewhere. I've seen my messages, ladies and gentlemen, reach the masses without me talking to the masses. I just talk to the right people, and the message travels. Now you have a different outlook on life. Now every now and then, so you're like, "What's up, man?" Now every now and then, um, I had an opportunity to talk to a large group of people, whether it be YouTube, whether it be on Clubhouse stages. But sometimes it's something about um, little rooms where I feel the most comfortable, because we get the most work done. That's where I feel the most comfortable. I'll use Clubhouse as an example. In Clubhouse, there's a bunch of people who are trying to earfuck the audience to see who comes first. Let me say that again. In Clubhouse, there's a bunch of people who are trying to earfuck the audience to see who comes first. That's a fact. Now, with that being a fact, the commonality of this is big stages. The most people in here, so that means I get to talk, and they want on outside. I get to talk and see who will listen to me, how I can sway the conversation, whatever. See, when I talk, ladies and gentlemen, I probably say a couple of words and I keep it moving. Hey, you. Shout out to Tara. How you doing, sweetheart? So when it comes to me talking, there's a reason why I say little. So a lot of people have to say these long formatted sentences to get their shit off. And I always tell people, when I'm not talking, that's probably when I'm at my most dangerous, because I'm just going to say a couple of things and I'm going to change the conversation. You're just not going to know what to do when I do it. Matter of fact, people don't know that I can change their stances, or I can change the way they're talking just by saying a couple of words. Happens all the time, excuse me. Right now, Tara is on the vertical stream right now. I don't know if she noticed, but she could probably tell you that I don't. Excuse me. She'll be the one to tell you that I don't talk that much on these stages. Whether it be big or small, I don't talk that much. But when I do talk, I'm quick to the point, because when it comes to attention spans, so we don't have to get into that. I'm just saying. Yeah, she'll tell you right now. She said, I do not talk that much on the stage. I just come, make my submission, and I just keep the conversation pushing. There's like, he didn't say anything. Yes, the fuck I did, because you just changed your stance and you don't even know it. And by the time you realize it, I'm already in the next room contributing to another conversation and changing the world to what I believe in. I did that on YouTube. I do that on Clubhouse. I do that anywhere in real life. See, when you have real conversations and you're not pushing an agenda or something like that, you get to realize how powerful you are. That's when you get to realize how powerful you really are with your words, how words can change things. All right. Oh, and now, Tara, I've been watching some of your videos. So trust me when I say that conversation that I say you and I are going to have, we're going to have that real soon. I've been watching your videos. And for you guys don't know who Tara is, she is a young lady that I met on Clubhouse. And let's just say that's one more person on Clubhouse that I can't wait to introduce you guys to. So we'll talk. We will definitely, I'll introduce her to you guys later. So yeah, and let me, if when it comes to this segment, final words from Andre 3000.
But one thing that Jack said, man, Jack is, man, he's one of my favorites, man. We love you, man. But one thing that he said something about little rooms, and we started in a little. Little rooms. Great things start in little rooms. That's it.
Long live Uncle Moni.
Great things starts in little rooms. From Andre 3000. Congratulations to Outkast 2025 Rock and Roll Hall of Famers. They earned it. They deserve it. Now, I'm going to, this will be the last thing that we're going to get out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm probably one of the nicest people that you're ever going to come across. So it will behoove you not to make an enemy out of me. There was I'm glad I turned around and looked at that because you're not about to give me hit with no copyright anything. There we go. Confirm boss. Okay, I'll read that in a minute. So, like I say, it's best if you don't make an enemy out of me because number one, it's pointless, and number two, your angle is lacking context. So why would you even do that to yourself? So there was a situation on Saturday. First thing Saturday morning, somebody decided to go off on me. Guilty by association, I guess. Ladies and gentlemen, if I rock with you, I rock with you. I don't care what's going on outside of us. You my people, you my people. I was modded in I'll leave the names out of it. I was modded in somebody's room. It was a couple of months ago, ladies and gentlemen. And there was a situation that was going on where it involved one of the pillars of the Black manosphere. And that's the only context I'm giving you. It led to somebody trying to stop a message or ultimately stop somebody from making money to that individual packing up somebody in the most intellectual way. Now, people had a lot of things to say about that because that was going on for about maybe a day or two. And honestly, when it comes to things on social media, particularly Clubhouse, it's really going to last a day or two, and we're going to be on to something else. This individual has not let that L sink in. That L hurted her so bad that she brings this up every single time. Nobody is thinking about this situation. She keeps bringing it up. Like, look at this person that he decides to be with. You're saying this, you're saying that, and all this other stuff. I was like, it's like nobody cares. We only think about this because you continue to bring it up. You can bring up whatever this gentleman's lady, how she looks or whatever. You can bring that up all you want. it doesn't it doesn't live up to the fact that what was accused of you doing and what seed was birthed from that. That's going to hold top priority over what you're trying to expose him to be. Doesn't matter. But you keep bringing this up every single time. I went into this young lady's room. Shout out to her. And I started to get yelled at or cussed at or whatever the case may be. The only thing I articulated to this person was get your facts right and pick another target. That's all I said to her. She continued to do what she do. All the yelling, cussing, or whatever. I just sat in that room because I'm not running from anything. Matter of fact, the person in the room thought I ran. I was like, huh? She was like, oh, I didn't see you on stage. I was like, I don't run from anything. So I stood there in that room the whole time. She circled back to say something to me again. I just started playing gifts of me reading a newspaper, me reading a book, me yawning, me tapping my fingers, me giving her a thumbs up. Like I was undermining her, what she was saying, because it's like, it's not landing. It's like, because number one, nobody cares. When it comes to domestic shit, nobody cares about what I have to do with it. And matter of fact, here's the crazy part. I have nothing to do with it. I have nothing to do with what you did. And I have nothing to do what was alleged that you did. But here we are. Because you are mad of the people that was associated. Matter of fact, the stage I was modded on, he has nothing to do with what you got going on. Your beef is really with that individual that packed you up on the most intellectual fundamentals I've ever seen in my life. Because like I said, once you play with somebody's money, all bets are off. With that happening, you said what you said. And I was like, you know what? She wants my attention. Bet. And that's why I tied in my room. You want my attention? Bet. Because she also said earlier in this room that she was anonymous in that room that I was modded in. I said, cool. You don't have to be modded. You don't have to go up anonymous. I want you to come in my room and you can say what you want to say. You can say what you want to say. She screenshot it and showed the whole stage and tried to call me on that. I'm like, and again, gifts, emojis, whatever. I'm like, okay, so you're trying to shame the fact that I'm not running? She said, it's weird. It's all this other stuff. And some dude said, man, it's like, man, you got time to talk about women. You ain't getting enough pussy. And I was like, first of all, you tender dick, pandering, simp bitch. Once you elevate yourself to the realms of, how can I say this? I don't pedestalize pussy because I don't pedestalize women. Let me say that again. I don't pedestalize pussy because I don't pedestalize women. That's going to go over a lot of people's head. Shout out to the smart ones that got what I just articulated. So because I don't put that on the pedestal, you can't use that as a weapon against me, ever. And it's kind of odd that a man try to use pussy as a weapon against. No, I won't go there. I'll leave that alone. So with that, I don't run from any fight. I'm not running. Matter of fact, I welcome it. Why did I create a room and send her a link? Because I want you to know that you want to have a conversation, we can have it. However, because she was doing all this yelling and her mind is made up, I don't go back and forth with restarts. Shout out to Cell and Raw giving me that word to use. It's actually been helping me a lot. I don't argue with a bunch of restarts. So I was like, you're going to get the opportunity. Now you get to get the full opportunity of how I feel about you in this situation, about all the things that you did leading up to that situation. Because I never really gave my take on it in its entirety. I might briefly speak on it here and there and kept it moving. But since you want my full-fledged take on what I think about what you did, cool. I can do that. And I did. And ladies and gentlemen, that was a love tap of what I did. Because she said all the things that was alleged against her was not true. All the things that was said against her was not true. So that's why in that room, I said allegedly. To this young lady that I'm speaking of, the person that intellectually packed you up had paperwork on you. This person that exposed you for what you did has paperwork on you. Be happy that person only kept it to Clubhouse. Because he could have brought that on YouTube anytime. But the reason why he probably didn't, if he didn't, because I don't think he did, I could be wrong. Nobody cares. When people don't care to think about you or that situation. Matter of fact, when you pop up in these rooms, we're already talking about something different. And you can contribute to the conversation. And we can keep it pushing because nobody cares. But you keep bringing this up because you're hurt. And on top of that, I found out you stayed 4 hours from me. You and the people involved stay in a city that is 4 hours from where I'm at right now. So let me say this. You said it's not true. There's paperwork that says it is. And based off of where this paperwork came from, I know it to be true. I'll still do my due diligence to go verify first. But if we come to the conclusion that we all know to be true now, let me say this. What I did yesterday was a love tap. What I did yesterday, again, was a love tap. Because if I wanted to take your head off your shoulders, figuratively speaking, I can. If you ever in your motherfucking life address me like that again, we are going to have a paperwork party on YouTube. I will expose you to a new audience that you never knew existed. And if I expose you to this audience that you never knew existed, kiss your job goodbye. Because the type of profession that you're in is predicated, one of the things that is predicated on that you have some type of moral integrity. The actions that was done, the actions that you did allegedly may not get you fired all the way, but depending on what location you work at, it probably will. It's all the things that you have done leading up to that will make sure that it will get you fired. Since you like to play with other people's money. So, I have never in my life did a paperwork party on anybody. I have called out a couple of people for what they said and dog walked them across my page. Yes, I have. If what was told to me is true, and technically I have every reason to believe that is true because of where the sources are coming from, I'm telling you this right now. It's not doxing if it's public record. Let me take this off so you understand that I'm not playing. It's not doxing if it's public record. It's not doxing if it's public record. You call me out like that again, and I will ruin you by introducing you to people who never knew you existed and who will actually be more interested into figuring out who the fuck you are. Yes, Charlie, yes, I'm talking about Clubhouse. I'm talking about Clubhouse. Because there's some of the things that you're doing is child's play. I can show you how a grown-up plays this game, and I can show you how it can cost you in real life. There's so many ways I can destroy you, but I'm showing grace. I can do it on YouTube and keep it to YouTube, or I can actually take a 4-hour drive to your location, and I can talk to the parties involved. Maybe that's a little bit too intellectual for you, although that's very straightforward because you don't know what to do when it comes to a man like me who's moving this way, who's actually showing you grace. And you got these tender dick simp ass niggas in your crew, and you got these goofy bras that want to back you up, and you guys want to pretend you don't understand what I'm saying. So I'm going to say this. If you play with me again, we can play. I'm going to win, and you're going to lose greatly. In other words,
don't fucking fight with me, nigga! Rookie mistake. Don't do it again. Don't do it again.
Final fucking warning. Trust me, people say they can take it to hell. I can take you to the 9 gates of hell. Don't play with me. That's your final warning. And that was the last call, ladies and gentlemen. Now we can bury that and we can move forward. So I actually got things to do tonight. So I'm about to go ahead and start my evening. Thank you guys for tuning in. On your way out, if you like what you was watching, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. Follow me on all social links are located in the description. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Once we reach that goal, one lucky person will get $100 when we do the Cash App giveaway. Thank you guys for tuning in. BTSI show, Christopher J. We will see you next week. Peace out. Enjoy your evening. Oops.
It's a mess. Hey, don't even worry about it.